Right, we're going to be talking about modeling functions. So again, these are scenarios where a function can model what we're trying to talk about, like some sort of scenario. So let's look at some examples. A child rides a Ferris wheel, well, around on a Ferris wheel, twice. Uh, what graph represents this function? So you would think it would just be a circle because they ride on a Ferris wheel. Wouldn't that represent it? However, we want to look at it a little bit differently. So our graph that we're going to use is an X and a Y. And so we would have on the side height above the ground. And then we have time, right? It takes time to ride the Ferris wheel. So if we think about how this works, they ride on a Ferris wheel twice. So when you have a Ferris wheel and we have the person that's sitting in the chair there, what's going to happen? Well, they're going to ride around on it. So they're literally going this way and come back to where they are. And then they end up going around a second time and coming back. So think about the height that happens, right? So the height, right, they start from the bottom and work their way all the way to the top and then back down twice. But we have to think time. Time is still going. It's continuous. So let's take that thought, that going up and down, and relate it as time goes by. So what does this graph look like? Well, they start at the bottom, right? They're on the ground, basically. And they're going to go up. But it's going to take time. So we're going to go up. And then we come all back down. Almost. We're not going to go totally to the ground, right? Because we're going to go up again and then we get off the ride. Okay? So that would model this function. Next example. What would complete the ordered pair on the graph? What would complete the ordered pair on the graph? F of x equals 2x plus 3, and the ordered pair is -1 blank. So remember that a function still has x's and y's, and an ordered pair is x and y. So when it says what would complete the ordered pair, they're saying that x is -1 in our function of x. So what we're going to do is plug that in for x. So plugging that in, 2 times -1 plus 3. Order of operations, 2 times -1 is -2 plus 3. -2 plus 3 is 1. So what would complete it? 1. Last example. graph f of x equals absolute value of x. So we've graphed lots of things already. Remember, this is going to be identical to y equals absolute value of x. There is no change in that graph. It doesn't look different. It's just different notation because we want to let the reader know that this is a function. It follows all the rules of a function. Okay? So graphing can be done several different ways. If you remember your parent functions or basic functions, then you can graph it that way. You can always make an XY chart to graph things. You can also use Desmos. That's a great one as well. Doesn't matter. So absolute value of x is going to look like, that's our v function. And so it looks identical to y equals absolute value of x. Again, just different notation to let the reader know that it passes the vertical line test. That's it for this video. If you have any questions as you complete the lesson, make sure to ask your teacher. Have a great day.